I now call to order the 24th meeting of the 61st session on March 20th, 2019 at 7:02 p.m. Moving into Section 2, roll call. When I say your name, please say present or here. Senator Akhter. Senator Ale.
Here.
Senator Balderrama. Senator Balzer.
Here.
Senator Berth.
Present.
Senator Bogle.
Here.
Senator Brumley.
Here.
Senator Enns.
Here.
Senator Fugit.
Here.
Senator Gibson.
Here.
Senator Huser.
Here.
Senator James.
Here.
Senator Khan.
Here.
Senator Kimball. Senator King.
Here.
Senator Laughlin.
Here.
Senator Martin.
Here.
Senator Maddock.
Here.
Senator Morgan. Senator Mounts.
Here.
Senator Peel.
Here.
Senator Prakash. Senator Rivera.
Present.
Senator Rodriguez.
Present.
Senator Wang. Senator Wappelhorst. Senator Wright. Really? Senator Zacharias.
Here.
All right. Quorum has been met with 20 in attendance, with 20 in attendance. Simple majority is 11 votes. 2/3 majority is 14 votes, and 2/3 of the entire Senate is 20 votes. Moving into Section 3, approval of the minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes of last week's meeting? Or 2 weeks ago's meeting? All right. Seeing none, the minutes are corrected as they are, and we will move into Section 4, public forum. Is there anyone wishing to speak in public forum tonight? All right, seeing none, we will now move into Section 5, officer reports. Are we submitting them to? So we'll all be submitting ours to the record in the essence of time. Are there any? So then we'll move into Section 6, other reports. Are there any chairs who wish to give a report? All right, seeing none, we move into Section 8, unfinished business. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to pull everything up, but this laptop is taking a painfully long time to boot. I guess I could also... almost have it, maybe, potentially. Basically, like, so Shelby has everything right now, but there are some amendments that people have been making in the course of just the past 24 hours, and I have the documents for those, so I would love to be able to get those sent. But I guess while we're waiting on this, let's just go ahead and get started. We'll move into item A, SB-61-076, the Constitutional Readjustment Act. This is something that we had our first read on 2 weeks ago, and we have since proposed amendments. Hopefully you all got those. That being said, do the authors wish to speak on this? And or I guess we have to make the amendments, don't we? That would probably be good. So I would like to entertain a motion for any amendments at this time. Well, I guess, Senator Berth, since you have the amendments, would you like to make them?
Yes.
All right. Senator Berth has made a motion to amend with the amendments that he has. I'm assuming so that you're going to do both the amendments, right?
I have both of them if you would like me to just do them right now.
Do you want to go ahead and, well, first of all, is there a second for this motion? Okay. Do you want to go ahead and speak to the amendments that we have?
Sure. So the amendments that we have are basically in line with what we have taken out of the Constitution and we're planning on putting back into the bylaws. And so the amendment is doing just that, putting it into the bylaws in the appropriate places as we had identified, not during the first read. So the first one would actually be so it would be amending the bylaws, Article 1, Section 2, to add 2.4 during a meeting. Senator may motion to place an association officer member or cabinet or committee chair on temporary suspension. This is, allowing like conflicts of interest to be essentially rerouted, and so you don't have any delay in coverage. And it lays out specifically how you would do that through, Senate resolution, which would have to pass by a 2/3 majority vote, not requiring any additional signatures from cabinet that may veto said things for their own positions as well as others. Next one is adding Article 1, Section 1, Paragraph 1.3.1, which is actually one of the things that we removed, which is President may call a special session of the Senate if they attempt in good faith to notify all senators within more than 24 hours prior to the time set for the session. We actually did remove more from the session, or from the section as noted in the original article, but some of them were not worded the best or no longer applicable, so this was the only one that would be added back into the bylaws. Next amendment would be Article 1, Section 1, adjusting paragraph 1.2.1 to read, if the Vice President has a conflict of interest regarding a piece of business currently on the Senate floor, the Vice President may consider their position temporarily vacated so that the first successor per Article 3, Section 7.3 of the bylaws can serve as an unbiased acting Vice President chairing the meeting until the bill leaves the floor. The next one is for paragraph 1.2.2, which has now been essentially rerouted through Article 3, Section 7. So that one is to strike in its entirety. Then we come to adding Article 3, Section 7 for the succession of power, which we did remove or would be removing from the Constitution. And it's a complete rework of how that would happen. And so the best place we figured to place it was actually in our policies, which would be Article 3, and we just created a new section for it, so Section 7. It would be the line of succession to the presidency shall be comprised of the vice president and first and second successor. At the beginning of a new session of the association, the positions of first and second shall be considered vacant in order for us to appoint who we deem appropriate for those positions ourselves. If any position in the line of succession becomes permanently vacant, the Senate must pass a bill appointing the vacant positions within the first 3 official meetings following the vacancy. This is so that the line of succession doesn't get broken at any point. Say 2 people go down and it has to move up, and you don't have that second person. So as soon as it becomes permanently vacant, you have to add another individual, allowing some time to figure out who that individual would be. Should the position of president become vacant, the vice president shall assume mantle of president of the association with all rights and responsibilities thereof. That does incorporate temporary as well as permanent. Should the position of vice president become vacant, the first successor shall assume the mantle of vice president of the association with all rights and responsibilities thereof. As the first successor steps into the role of vice president, the second successor shall likewise move up. This is just keeping everything flowing as necessary. In the event that it is a temporary, you wouldn't have to appoint anybody to do it again, as everybody's just going to snap back after the temporary absence. Vacancy in the position of the president and or vice president can either be permanent or temporary, as I've been stating, and then we're going to list out what each type would be qualified as. So a vacancy shall be considered permanent if the cause is death, removal from office, or prolonged absence of 31 days. And it may be in permanent successions, the succeeding individual shall remain in their position for the remainder of the term of the vacated position. Wrong page. So then you move into temporary, and temporary shall be considered temporary suspension by the Senate or a temporary absence of 30 days or less. Temporary successions in the succeeding individual shall remain in their position for the duration of the temporary vacancy and shall afterwards return to the original position. I do believe I covered all of the amendments.
Okay. So are there any objections? I'm going to motion that we suspend the rules so that we can have a questioning period on these amendments so that everybody is clear and understanding of what they do and why we made them. So are there any objections to that? All right, seeing none, is there any questions for Michael Barth or I? Senator Rivera.
Yeah, so I'm looking at section, if I'm reading this correctly, it's bylaws 3, section 7, line 7.
What's the line number?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I should just do that. Line number 70, 7.1.1, where it says at the beginning of a new session of the association, the positions of first and second successor shall be considered vacant. It doesn't, I guess I should just, how do we decide, or how does the Senate decide who will be appointed? I guess is my question.
Yeah, so I don't have it in front of me, but I believe that the way that we decided that the Senate decides who it is that they make a bill appointing them. So it's the same appointment template that you would use for a vacant senator, and then that way the Senate decides who's in the line of succession. Senator Mounts.
So can anyone, including senators, be appointed to the first and second successor positions, or does it have to be cabinet positions?
Yeah, so I believe the way that we have it written, and somebody who has it up in front of them can correct me on this, but it's senators, executive officers who aren't already president and VP, and cabinet members. And the notion behind that is we were thinking okay, so there's a case to be made that the chief of operations should be the next in line, which is how we did it and how it's handled for temporary succession. But also, some people liked the idea of us having the Senate be able to choose somebody from their own to be the next vice president in the case of permanent secession, which is how the Constitution outlines it. So this secession, line of secession, is basically a compromise between the two, where the Senate chooses who they want in the line of succession, and that way the choice is theirs. So they can say, we want the chief of operations and this senator to be in there. And so that way it's a lot more of a flexible system, and it allows, so if there is a senator that you're going to choose to be in the, next in line to be VP, that senator can have like way in advance like warning and knowledge of this, so that way they can be prepared and be training themselves to become a potential vice president in the future. Senator Martin.
For successor 1 and successor 2, do they have to meet the same requirements to be president and VP? Because I know president and VP have to be upperclassmen. So is that going to play into that as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Senator King.
So what are the signature requirements for like deciding secession? So I know that for most bills you need president, you need a couple of other signatures. What would the signatures be for that if it is a case of somebody not being there who you probably need?
So are you talking about what are the signature requirements in terms of like who needs to approve appointing a successor, or who needs to approve the act of secession itself?
Yeah, like approve of appointing the successor.
So when it comes to appointing the successor, that is a Senate bill. So the Senate will need to have a bill, and that bill will need to be voted on with the same requirements as an appointment, which is, so an appointment is like 2/3 majority, right? And then the president would need to sign it, so they would have a veto on that appointment, and then the secession would happen automatically once the person was appointed.
So ideally, you would be appointing these successor 1 and successor 2 at the beginning of beginning of the session. You're not appointing these people if something has come up. It's already in place, ready to go. Those people know that they are in that line.
Senator Fugit.
My question relates to that the president and vice president are elected positions. Is there a reason why we should put into the line of succession someone who was appointed and not others who were elected, such as elected senators?
That's a very good question, actually, and that was part of the concern. The worry is that the benefit of having senators be the next in line to be your VP is that a senator is potentially, hopefully, somebody who is elected. But the issue is, first of all, that's not necessarily always the case. And second of all, it is true that in general, the chief of operations, because they are a paid position who has the luxury to actually have their job be sitting here and becoming familiar with SGA's laws and parliamentary procedure and that sort of thing, that makes it so that they're inherently more likely to be prepared, whereas somebody who's in Senate might have a lot of time commitment on their hands. And so this is meant to be a compromise where if you didn't feel like the chief of operations was properly represented, then you wouldn't necessarily need to choose them. You could choose a senator instead, and that senator could be someone who is elected. Senator Laughlin?
Is there a way as senators that that a senator could apply to potentially be a successor? Is that a process we could put in place?
So I wasn't really thinking about an application process, and part of the reason why is because typically when we have application processes, it's like a shocker sync form that goes and it's in like the president and vice president's paperwork list. And what I don't want to see from this is I don't actually want to see the president making the nominations. I want to see the Senate choosing from their own who's going to be in the line of succession.
I just meant that from what I'm getting is that the Senate kind of nominates people to be successors and we get to choose, but to avoid choosing people who don't want to be the successor, is there a way that senators could express their interest and then we could choose from those who are, who desire to have that position?
I don't actually have a specific procedure in mind, but I think that would be a good idea, yeah. Senator Fugit?
In response to that, and I'll just respond to that and hold on my next one, it could be possible to do a typical Robert's Rules nomination process where you take nominations from the floor, a second, and then debate.
That would
possibly.
could be a good idea. However, just a reminder that this is a questioning period, so maybe not suggestions, if that's okay.
So that, I mean, would that work?
It may work.
Within the bylaws.
Right, it might work, but that's a bit of a question is all I'm saying. So let's make sure we're keeping questions as, what we're speaking of in order to maintain decorum and everything. Are there any other questions? Senator Fugit.
Is the role of the COO or the rest of the cabinet, other than president and vice president, is the role to serve, who does the cabinet serve?
I don't know if the journal says anything in particular, but I would assume that the cabinet's duty-bound to serve the oath of office, if not, or to serve the student body, if not by proxy, in their duty to serve.
So when you think about
No,
really,
Gabe, I wasn't
oh, I'm so sorry.
referring to you. We're just trying to figure out where the feedback is coming from. Okay. Yeah, so if not by proxy, because so they either directly serve the student body or they serve the president, which in turn means that they should be serving the student body because the president should be serving the student body. But I would assume that it would be the student body because they do take an oath of office in service to SGA and its constituents and its constitution. Are there any other questions? All right, seeing none, we will now exit our questioning period and move into debate on this amendment. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate? Senator Rivera?
Yeah, I have a motion.
Okay.
So going back to line 70, section 7.1.1, this is kind of a long one, so I'll kind of read it slowly, but I would like to motion to amend to add at the end after vacant, the Senate will nominate according to the Robert's Rules of Order nominations process from either amongst itself or from the association.
Okay, can you,
Yeah,
let's
I'll send it to
So
you.
the first issue is that there's conflicts in line numbers on different people's computers.
Section 7.1.1. Yeah,
Alright.
that one right there.
So do you want to put italicized text to show what's the? All right, so can you read it slowly?
Yeah. Yeah, I can send it into Discord. But the Senate will nominate according to the Robert's Rules of Orders nominations process. From either amongst itself or from the association's cabinet. To fill the vacant first and second successor at the beginning of the session.
Can I recommend a friendly amendment to this? So you said from either the Senate or the Cabinet. However, if you take a look at 7.1.3, it says any member of the executive or legislative branch who is not already VP or president.
Yeah, and you can get rid of that part. That's my fault.
Good job. All right. Is there anyone, or I guess, do we have a second on the amendment? All right. It has been motioned and seconded to amend the bill, or would this be amend the amendment? Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate on this amendment?
As I recall, Robert's Rules has a secret ballot for the nomination. So is that correct? And if that is correct, would there be a friendly amendment, accepting a friendly amendment to make it open?
I mean, I'm not a Robert's Rules expert, but I know that at SAE, when we do nominations, we follow Robert's Rules and we just nominate openly. Like I nominate Shelby to the first vacant position, and then she will either accept or decline, and then we'll decide as a Senate. So it won't be closed. It wouldn't be a secret ballot. It'd be open like that.
If you guys will just want to bear with me for a little bit, I'm going to find a correction on this here. I don't think it's a secret ballot. When it speaks, this is, my source here is Robert's Rules of Order, the section starts page 431, nominations from the floor, and as it goes into page 432, it says, in a large meeting or convention, a member should rise when making a nomination from the floor, but in small assemblies, nominations are frequently made by members from their seats. I know that doesn't explicitly say no secret ballot, but I believe that since it says that they rise and get recognition from the floor, that implies that there is no secret ballot by default in this case.
Point of information, is a secret ballot, right here, is a secret ballot technically against the Kansas Open Records Act, or no?
I don't actually know. I don't think it would be.
The results would be public, so it's not like we don't share that information.
Also, in response to you were saying elections, Senator Fugit. I don't believe that would be applicable because we're making nominations, so there would be no election process here. See, but I still don't see how this is applicable by default, because it's not an election, we're just making a nomination. I believe that whatever, like, I don't think that it'll be a secret ballot, so I don't think that it's necessary for us to make an amendment at this time. And my suggestion, if we're wanting to do further research on this, is that if the Senate believes that the overall notion of the changes themselves, the amendments and the bill are fine, that we should pass the bill since it's of a timely nature for us to get this passed by this date, since it does involve a constitutional amendment. And then if we feel like there needs to be some ironing out with regard to Robert's rules and the procedure of the nominations, that we make those amendments after the fact in a further meeting.
Would the Senator Rivera accept a friendly nomination to say, according to by the election rules determined by the Senate at that time? Can I answer? Mm-hmm. Yes. In the other bodies that I've been in, when we have nominations from the floor, there's usually a ballot. But if there's also rules that conduct the actual function of the election. So those rules, whether it's a secret ballot, whether it's open, is determined by the Rules Committee prior to the election and then voted on by the committee, and that would be standard procedure in Robert's Rules.
So perhaps the friendly amendment could be something along the lines of the Senate shall decide the procedure by which the nominations are made?
Yes.
Do you accept that?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So I believe currently we are still on the amendment to the amendment. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate on this amendment? All right. Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period. All those in favor of this amendment, please raise your hand. All those opposed to this amendment, same sign. The amendment has passed, or the amendment to the amendment has passed, and we will now go into the debating period for the first level of amendment. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate?
I wish to make an amendment, a motion.
Okay.
To amend 7.1 to also say that the first and second successor must meet the rules. I don't know which part of the bylaws it is, but must meet the rules of the rules that apply to the president and the vice president, junior, senior, whatever section that is.
I don't 100% think it would be necessary to add that, because if we put someone in who wasn't that, we'd be violating our Constitution. I recognize why it would make sense to put it into that statute, but I think because the requirements for those offices live in the Constitution, if we put in a sophomore with a 2.1, yeah, that's not the GPA, a 2.1, then we would be violating the Constitution, and therefore they would be ineligible to hold office. So I think it's fine to reference it if you want to, but I think because it lives in the Constitution already, it might not be 100% necessary to put it into the bylaws as well. But if you're curious, it's in Article 3 under the Senate, just in case.
Wait, it's under the Senate?
Yeah, so when, because it talks about like, well, one's in the executive, one's in the Senate. It's the same requirement, except it's like the 2.5 and then junior and senior. So Article 3 and then Article 4 of the Constitution, which sets up the bodies of each group.
So just say per the Constitution. It has been motioned that the amendment be made as such. Is there a second to this amendment? All right, it has been motioned and seconded to amend the amendment. Does this look accurate to your amendment? Okay. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate on this amendment? Seeing none, we'll move into the voting period. All those in favor of this amendment, please raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. All right, the amendment has passed by a majority vote of the Senate. We are now on the first level of amendments on the bill. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate on this amendment? Seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period. All those in favor of the amendment, please raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. All right, the amendment has passed, and we will now move into debate on the bill itself. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah, it's fine. All right, is there anyone wishing to speak in debate on the bill itself? All right, seeing none, we'll move into the voting period. All those in favor of this bill, please raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. SB-61-076 has passed by a majority vote of the Senate. Moving into Section 9, New Business, Item A, FB-61-046, Student Fees, or Student Fiscal Year 20 Recommended Student Fees Budget. Does the author wish to speak to this bill? No. Are there any questions for the author?
I was just kidding.
Oh.
Sorry, that was not good of me. That was a yes, I would like to speak to this bill. So if you all tuned in for my live feed, or if you've been looking on what I presented on the Discord, you'll see that ultimately student fees will be increasing by 2.5% next year. So the total amount requested from all the student fees funded groups and departments was $10,071,348. The amount allocated that the student fees group recommended to the Senate is $9,822,464. So that means that in order to meet that $9.8 million, we have to increase student fees because headcount will be down slightly. Ultimately, what this means is for Tier 1 students, that means undergraduate students taking 9 or more credit hours, or graduate students taking 7 or more credit hours, they will be paying $406.85 per semester. I know that sounds like a lot. However, that is only $9.92 per semester increase, which for the entire year, that's only $19.84 more than what you're paying this year. So I'm going to go through very briefly what we covered in the student fees meeting. I'd like to remind you all that the Senate cannot make any line-by-line changes to the student fees budget anymore. So you all, whenever you vote next week, it will be just an entire vote for the 2.5%. So I'm not going to go necessarily into specifics about the line-by-line. However, I'll go through the groupings or the sections. So first off, for the Educational Opportunity Fund, there was no change to any of these groups. I think the Student Fees Committee just felt like the Educational Opportunity Fund offers a lot of different scholarships to students, such as like graduate scholarships and international scholarships. So we really wanted to prioritize this time around. So nothing was changed. Next, we have the Student Affairs budget. The major change to this one is to the Prevention Services Program, also known as Safe Ride. As you all may remember, Dr. Provines did come in and speak to us about Safe Ride. She explained that we require around $60,000 to pay for Safe Ride. However, the same, I think like 36 or so, under 50 students used it for the wrong reasons. They used it to get home after a night of studying for classes rather than for its intended use. So we decided that rather than funding the prevention services program for $56,000, I think that's the right one, for $45,000, we're only going to be funding it for $10,000. The reason for this $10,000 is because they do use $10,000 to program for different prevention services. So I think they have like mental health awareness, or they have different suicide prevention events that they host that comes out of this. So we did decide that we wanted to fund $10,000 of those programs. We're just no longer funding anything for Safe Ride. Along with that, the next section that I'm going to cover that had, no change was the Radigan Student Center. We felt like the Radigan Student Center it's a nonprofit organization in the first place, and what they need to run this building is what they need, so we decided not to make any changes on that. The next section is the Sunflower. So we decided to not fund $8,000 of their request. They requested $158,000. We decided that we would fund $150,000. The reason for this is because they had a really good list of initiatives that they wanted to do. However, we felt like we needed to significantly decrease the amount of student fees that we had, and with the money that we gave them, they would be able to use that money to hit some of the initiatives that they wanted anyway. So I'd like to draw attention to fiscal year 2019. They requested $80,000. So this $158,000 is nearly doubling their student fees anyway. So we felt like whatever they really needed would be covered, and they would be able to decide, how they would not fund whatever new initiatives that they needed from the cut of $8,000. Next, we have campus recreation. The only cut that we made to this was around $4,000 from the operating account, and the main reason for this is, like I said, we really needed to keep student fees low, and along with that, they had some ideas for renovations. Some were dream renovations, some were some were required renovations, so we felt like with this $4,000 decrease in their requested amount, they could still do whatever renovations they really needed to do in the Heskett. Next, we have Student Government Association. We decided to decrease their budget by about $5,000, $10,000. Hold on. By about $10,000 it should be, I believe. And the reason for this is because there were unfilled positions this year, so the organizational outreach position wasn't filled because we didn't feel like we needed that position. And along with that, the Chief of Operations position is currently unfilled and will be unfilled for the rest of our term. So there is a little bit of extra money in there that we could give up for student fees as well. And then finally, there is the other programs. The Formula team did receive a cut. The reason for this is because we were looking at the other programs, and we just saw that Unfortunately, formula did have a very, very large budget to work with in the first place. So in terms of the cuts that we needed to do, we felt like the formula team, with input from certain engineering students, could survive with that 57,000 budget allocation, so they could build their cars differently, or spend a little bit less money on different things that they needed for their cars, or they could potentially change like their traveling expenses to be able to operate the way they do with 57,000. Additionally, the next largest cut was varsity esports. So originally they had requested $85,556, and we allocated to them $48,000. So you can see that for personnel they required $75,000, and that would be the current person that's working there. So the varsity esports like director. The varsity esports director does not have any assistants or anything like that. It's just that one person. So that's why in the original request there was like 2 student assistants. We spoke with Terry about it during the student fees meeting, because she's the budget officer for that group, and she kind of said that we negotiated, and she said that we would be able to encourage students that are already on the varsity esports team to step up and do the positions that the student assistants would be doing anyway. So that's why we were able to cut so much from the varsity esports section. Along with that, another portion where we were able to get student fees was from cash sweeps. So, for example, we have $15K from SGA, and that would just be from past rollover funds. And along with that, we also have Dine Dress Interview. That account is currently closed out, so they had money sitting left in there that they wouldn't be able to use for anything. So we decided to sweep that as well. $40K from prevention services, and I believe this was part of Safe Ride as well, money that they didn't spend on Safe Ride or didn't spend on programming for the past few years. The International Scholarship Fund, $10,000. This just means that in the past there was money that they didn't allocate towards scholarships, so it automatically went into the reserves. They can't use this money because they could, but they're requesting money for scholarships already, and this money is just kind of sitting there in their savings account, if you can kind of understand that. We decided to sweep $10K from that. And finally, we decided to close out the SGA Collegiate Readership Program Fund, and that was just leftover money that we were planning on using for camera maintenance, but we decided that SGA would be able to find the money elsewhere, ultimately. So after all of that, I just want to preface a few things that I also mentioned the live stream. So the Student Fees Committee we had some few bumps in the road this year. One of the first ones was the cost of living increase that salaried positions might have. So we understand that 2.5% may be asking a lot from students for the next year. However, the state might be passing legislation that requires all salaried positions and university positions to have a 2.5% cost of living increase. So because these groups are student fees funded, it means that student fees would have to fund these raises. And that's just a matter of Kansas legislation and how that system works. So we don't really have another choice. We could have done 3 different things. We could have fully funded those salaried positions and the raises. We could have partially funded the raises, so the departments would have to come up with the money themselves from somewhere, or alternatively, we could not fund the raises at all. We decided that we would fund those raises because it's people's livelihoods, and we can't really determine if departments have the ability to come up with the rest of the portion of the money, so we felt like we wanted to prioritize that. Along with that, if you all remember, student fees increases were extremely low last year. They were 0.9 or 1% increase, which means that this year when departments come back, this current student fees group has a little bit more of a difficult time coming up with that money, because we'll see, I don't want to say an artificial increase of student fees, but last year was really, really low, and it cut a lot of departments. This year, departments came back with kind of the same type of request and more need for student services and stuff like that. So this year it seemed like we increased student fees quite significantly. But other than that, I think that this committee did the best job with what it could, and I'll take questions if there are any.
Are there any questions for the author at this time? Senator Fugit.
I was in the deliberations, and I don't remember, it's been quite the year, but SGA eventually determines the budget. Is that done after student fees, or has it already been done? I don't remember.
Do you mean like SGA office budget, like, or
Well, I know there was the discussion about the captioning that happened on Monday. But that's something that SGA gets to determine what to do with the money.
okay, so,
So-
yeah, so I can answer that. So the money that we gave up, we were thinking that that would come from the different positions that were unfilled. And ultimately, when it comes to money for captioning, there will be enough money in the budget to have captioning. However, when it comes to budget cuts, the Student Fees Committee is not allowed to come to the table and say, no, we don't agree that you're asking for a $10,000 increase for live stream captioning, so we're going to cut your budget by $10,000. The Student Fees Committee is allowed to say, this is an increase that we don't necessarily want to see, but we're not allowed to determine that, and ultimately, in general, we'll cut your budget by this much.
Does SGA vote on the SGA budget?
Student Government Association, like all the years in the past, has voted on the student fees packet, which SGA is included. SGA, okay, you're talking about line items 60 through whatever.
Hold on. All right. SGA's budget, notwithstanding student fees. Does SGA vote on the budget? Our budget?
Yes. Nancy?
Yes. Yes, you already did. Yes.
Senator Maddock?
Okay, so I know last year with the cut to the sunflower, one of the big pushes was like do better with advertising. Do you have numbers of like how that happened or like how they did?
So I know this year they are projecting like $40,000 in ad revenue. I think the sentiments of the Student Fees Committee is that they've kind of expressed that they're pushing for more advertisement and that they've done a lot better and that they're hoping to do more. However, they've I feel like the committee understood that they expressed that that's the maximum that they were allowed to really push for. Along with that, they are also included in their request for increases. They're planning on hiring like an ad advisor so that they could have more expertise on how to increase advertisements. So I think that answers your question. Like, yes, we did consider that last year. We wanted them to increase ads more, and this year we felt like they are trying and they still need this amount of student fees.
So I remember I'm on pub board, and Kylie Cameron, the ad manager this year, she met what they had raised in ads last year by like January, February. So they're on track to make probably 10,000 at least more from last year. So they really came back and, really worked hard on that.
Senator King?
So maybe this is just me not being knowledgeable about it, but why hasn't Shocker Sound been asking for like the past few years? Is that their choice or?
They're in athletics now, so they are part of the athletics fee request, and so that the cheer team, the dance team are all in there.
What she said.
Are there any other questions? Senator Berth, do you have one?
Yeah. So you mentioned that we were taking cash back from International Scholarship Fund, correct? My question is, did we fully fund or partially fund it this time around before taking cash back?
So are you referring to the cash sweeps and then the fund itself?
Yes.
Okay, so the International Scholarship Fund is completely funded this year. They requested $20,000 and we recommended $20,000. The cash sweeps is just if for some reason a group has rollover, it goes into their reserves, and then we would be taking money from those reserves. It works for some groups because some groups don't require a large reserve. The Radigan Student Center requires a really large reserves because if something breaks, they need money to fix it, or if they need to save up a ton of money for a new infrastructure project, they need reserves. However, we talked about it and we realized that the International Scholarship Fund doesn't need reserves because we're already granting them the money that they need to allocate new scholarships.
Are there any other questions? Senator Ale.
On line 9, I'm seeing the International Student Hardship Fund. I'm not aware about what that is about, and also I'm seeing that there is no funding allocated to that. It's a blank.
In terms of that, I think that if organizations didn't request money for something, then or if groups didn't request money for something, then that's not in the purview of the Student Fees Committee to request that they request money. I'm not sure exactly why they aren't requesting money. Or actually, that's the same, it's just named something different, but it's the same. I'll refer to David, actually.
Hi, my name is David Miller, Budget Director. That what Stella outlined is exactly right. They haven't requested funding for about 5 years now. But they do have a cash balance. I think it's about $20,000 that's been dipped into occasionally to meet student needs when they come up. I'm afraid I'm not well versed on exactly how those resources are used. The dollars fall under Dr. Hall. Yes.
So the International Hardship Fund, back when they used it, it more of was a one-time allocation for students that they experienced. I think of an international student who maybe their parent passed away, and it was a last minute, hey, I need to fly home and be with my family during this time. So it was a one-time allocation for true hardship that was unexpected. So it wasn't about major, like, oh, I can't pay my tuition or my fees. It truly was a hardship that they experienced during that semester that they could get that one-time allocation to help them in that kind of life event is generally what I saw it used for.
Are there any other questions? All right, seeing none, we will move into debate on this item next week. Moving into item B, FB-61-047, individual funding request. Does the author wish to speak to this bill?
So we already passed Lucy Aragon's funding request previously. However, the reason that we're passing it again is that she requested we allocate the numbers differently. So if we only allow a maximum for 200 for lodging and that passes the Senate, then that means that they are not allowed to receive more than $200 for lodging. So she just requested that we switch the numbers a little bit, but the conference that she's attending is the same, and so is the research paper, which we have passed already.
Are there any questions for the author this time? All right, seeing none, we'll now move into debate on this. Senator Balzer.
Motion to adopt by unanimous consent.
Is there any objection? Seeing none, FB-61-047 has passed by unanimous consent of the Senate. Moving into item C, FB-61-048, auxiliary funding request. Does the author wish to speak to this bill?
So this specific funding request is just for t-shirts, and it's an event called the Dream Run, hosted by Sigma Lambda Beta and the sociology student group on campus. And I'm sure that some of you have already heard about it, but they stated that there's not a lot of opportunities for DACA students to receive scholarships from WCUR in general, and that a lot of undocumented students must rely on personal income or other scholarships, and that don't ask about the status of their citizenship here in the U.S. So what they wanted to do was they wanted to create a run that raises money for DACA students, and they requested that we fund t-shirts specifically. I think that they received quite a few sponsorships and that they're generating quite a lot of revenue from participants. So I asked them specifically, what would you like SGA to fund from this? And they said t-shirts. So obviously the auxiliary funding committee decided that if they wanted us to just fund t-shirts, then that's what we would do.
Are there any questions for the author at this time? Senator Rivera?
Do you have, excuse me, do you have any more, or like a projection of any more auxiliary funding requests you're going to have for the rest of the year?
Yes, there are about, I want to say 8 to 9 sitting in the forums section, and we heard 3 today. So,
Are there any other questions for the author? All right, seeing none, we'll now move into debate on this item. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate? Senator Brumley?
Yeah, I just wanted to debate in favor. This is a scholarship that SGA, I don't know if sponsors is the right word, but we're a part of this scholarship fund, and I think it's our job to make sure that we make sure that their initiatives are successful. And SLB has been doing a lot of good work, and they've been working on this particular event for about publicly for about a month. And I know a lot of people have already signed up, and they're kind of the t-shirts are really helping with that, I think. So just a small thing like this is really, really helping promote their event. So I encourage everyone to vote in favor.
And just for a quick clarification, because Senator Brumley was saying that this is something we're a part of. This is a scholarship that's one of our scholarships, it's in our journal. So, yeah. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate? Senator King?
I will be voting in favor. Simulanda Beta is actually our Hippodrome partners, and I've been talking with them quite a bit these past few weeks, and especially actually about this specifically. And I, after having seen this come out yesterday, I texted them about this and asked about it, and they seemed to be they seemed like they really did need this money to be able to do this, that it was integral to making this run happen. And any opportunity that we can get to help support this, I think that we really should. So,
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate on this bill? All right, seeing none, we'll now move into the voting period. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. FB-61-048 has passed by a majority vote of the Senate. Moving into item D, SB-61-077, correcting student advocate timetable. Does the author wish to speak to this bill?
Yes. I have a question. Do I just sit here or? Should I stand up? Okay. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. This is my first time writing a bill, so congratulations to me. SB 6177, correcting student advocates timetable. There are only a few changes. The first one is in line 10. The date has been changed from June 30th to June 1st. That's the year the advocate will be leaving office. So the time is basically becoming shorter. And then the second change is in line 13, which is basically stating the right section that you can find the time period outline at. And the last is line 14, where we added advocates will be paid until the outgoing student advocate is done serving in an advisory role instead of them getting paid for a week. So, yeah.
Are there any questions for the author at this time? Senator Fugit?
There we go. I noticed that on line 8 it says that the new student advocate will be sworn into office by the first business day of June. Does that mean there would be no one between June 1st and the first business day of June if they happen to not be the same time?
I'll pass that to Matt. I'm sorry, I don't.
So that's just saying that we need to have them appointed by then. Am I correct? Yeah. Senator Rivera?
Yeah, is there a specific reason why the student advocate serves in an advisory role after the transition period? Sorry.
So with academic appeals, that's typically at the end of the semester. And when Katrina came on as student advocate last year, she was kind of thrown into doing academic appeals with very little training on that. So we don't want to just leave the new advocate feeling kind of insecure in that role. So we want to make sure that the outgoing student advocate is able to help them through that process.
And to give you a little bit more context too to this one, this is actually this advisory role serving that the outgoing advocate does is something that we added in journal review when we were looking over at it. It's a change that Katrina looked at and was like, hey, we should do this. But the problem is we weren't as thorough as we should have been. So later when we were looking at this, we were looking at the fact that like the timetable didn't match up, the pay didn't match up, and the length that the student advocate stayed in was like till June 30th, which was way too long. And so we just, we were like, this is a change that needs to be made. And I figured, hey, we should have the senator do this and get them to practice writing bills, and we just stepped up to the plate. Is there anyone else wishing, or are there any other questions on the bill at this time? All right, seeing none, we'll now be moving into the debating period. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate on this bill? Senator Fugit?
I think I have a minor wording amendment. I would move that the addition to 4.1.1 that currently says until the outgoing student advocate is done serving an advisory role, to change that to until the outgoing student advocate has completed advisory duties, and that is just for bylaw sounding language.
Treasurer Yang has just brought up a very good point that actually this is a Senate bill. So even though it's small, debate does technically happen next week, and this is only a first read, which is my mistake. So we will go into debate on this next week. If you want to send us a message about this seems like it's something that could probably be made in a small amendment, and we can have it up there for the next time it goes. All right. So, moving into item E, SB-61-078, grant recognition to the Sisters for Sisters student organization. Does a representative from this organization wish to speak on this bill?
My name is Layla Berry, and we are here because we are a new organization called Sisters for Sisters.
My name is Michaela. My name's Karina. And my name is Bianca. The purpose of Sister for Sister is to reflect the ideals of sisterhood and support collegiate individuals working toward one goal that creates life-lasting bonds.
So basically what we hope to accomplish is to create like a group of people that just support each other in our overall goal as a student body, which is to like get our education and finish our degree and just support each other overall.
We're going to try and be very accessible for people to join, so we don't have any GPA requirements. And so for people to join, they can attend an informational, which they will learn more about our club and see if they do want to be in it. And then if they do still, they will receive an application that'll have our purpose and just our constitution for our club, so they always know what our club is about. And then we require that they attend 75% of our meetings, and if they do like are absent, like they communicate with us?
We plan to participate in the WSU community as a whole. While we do not have a community service requirement, we do plan on giving back to our community through campus activities. As for our emphasis on bonding, we plan on having one required official event a month. These activities will depend each time. As for joining, as mentioned previously, we will hold informationals twice a semester, but still be open to individuals to join in between informationals. Our main goal is to really be able to provide a space for people that would like to get involved on campus, but they might not have as much time allotted than other organizations. And that is all for right now. Thank you.
Would the speakers like to take questions on the bill? Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you all want to take questions on this?
Yes, we can. I'm sorry.
Okay. Are there any questions for the speakers at this time? Senator Balzer.
So what kind of, do you guys have experience running an executive positions in a club before or any other areas? Do you have other clubs or helpers to guide you through into making the process?
We have 2 advisors who are in the back, and the previous experience that we have, that 2 of us used to be in Greek organizations, which we believe will take our experience from there and apply it here, although this is not a Greek organization.
Are there any other questions? Senator Balzer?
Yeah, so I guess kind of a follow-up to that. What's the sort of differences in expectations and kind of different niche that this will fill compared to, say, a sorority or something along that type?
For example, joining sororities, some might have a GPA requirement, or you might have a probation period, where we do not have that because we would like to help each other academically if someone is struggling, per se. And we do not have membership dues, which is a barrier to many people that attempt to join Greek life. Could you repeat your question, please?
It was just, you basically just
Okay.
answered it. You're good.
Are there any other questions? Senator King?
Have you, so I assume that you guys have a good support from other people. Like, how many people have expressed that they would want to join this if this were to become a recognized organization?
We have not really put any information out there since we're not like an official organization, but this is all of us, plus we have one other person who could not attend tonight. But I do know people that would like to join Greek life but express that they do not have the time.
Are there any other questions? Senator Maddock?
First of all, thank you for coming. So nice. And then, do you guys have like an official meeting time or anything?
We plan on meeting Wednesdays at 6 p.m.
Senator Laughlin?
Do you guys have any like ideas in mind that you want to do, like, events in mind that you want to do as an organization?
As an organization, when I mentioned our sisterhood events, those will be for members, but then we would like to do on-campus activities such as WU's big event or something, and we have several connections to the TRIO programs on campus.
Are there any other questions for the speakers at this time? All right, seeing none, thank you for speaking. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate on this bill?
Point of order, we don't debate on this. This is just first read.
Okay, apparently I'm not on top of things today. It's just a first read. Thank you for the point of order. We will move into debate on this bill next week. Moving into item FSB-61-079, grant recognition to the ASL Club. Does a representative from the organization wish to speak to this bill?
For those of you who don't know sign language, I just said, my name is Sarah, and I am deaf and hard of hearing. And I'm wanting to restart the American Sign Language Club. And the reason why is because I've talked to a lot of other students on campus, like students who are taking ASL classes, other interpreters, and other deaf and hard of hearing people like me. And they told me that, hey, what happened to the ASL club? You know, I really want to be a part of that again. So I thought I would step up and start trying to get the club going. And there's so many people on campus who know sign and who would love to learn. And so, by the way, if you don't know what ASL is, it is a form of communication for the deaf and hard of hearing. And the whole purpose of ASL Club is to teach our community about American Sign Language and deaf culture. I want to create a space on campus where deaf and hard of hearing people can learn from each other. I want to have events such as silent dinners, silent movies, Deaf Awareness Week, educational events about the history of sign language, and teaching deaf etiquette. And now the reason why I say deaf etiquette is just because of freshman orientation. I was sitting in the front row and there's somebody over there with my interpreter, and she came up to her and asking a bunch of questions about me. And I'm sitting over here and I'm looking, I'm like, okay, I can see that they're talking about me. So I go up and I'm introduce myself. I'm like, hey, I'm here. But every single time the person would ask a question, I would face towards her, she would be like, oh, okay. Turn straight to my interpreter and be like, oh, has she been this way? Ever since she was born, I'd be like, hey, no, I'm over here. I wasn't always this way. I was born hearing and then I lost my hearing. And so I just want people to know that this is not okay. There are do's and don'ts whenever it comes to interacting with people with disabilities. So raising deaf awareness both linguistically and culturally on campus is the whole point of ASL Club. And I also plan on having bi-weekly meetings and other events. I'll mention that I want this club to be open for anyone and everyone who's interested about sign language and deaf culture. So the minimum GPA would be 2.0. But there are some regulations. If they don't behave, obviously can't be in the club. But I just really want this to be open to anyone and everyone. So I hope you vote yes. The ASL Club would be a great addition to our campus again. And does anybody have any questions at this time?
Are there any questions, Senator Maddock?
Do you know why it was, why it died before?
I was wondering that myself. From what I heard, I think people got too busy, And so it's a lot of people within the deaf community and within the on campus. So it's really hard to find a perfect meeting time. And so whenever we do meet up, we won't be able to include everyone. So that's why I plan on having a lot of events so that more people can just come when they can.
Senator Laughlin?
Have you been working with the ASL classes on campus to see if they would have students that would be involved?
Yes, one of the people who's helping me restart this club is Jillian. She's not here tonight. She's taking an ASL class right now. So she already talked to a lot of people in her class and roommates and whatever, and she told me, a lot of people are wanting to do this. I haven't been taking an ASL class just because I know sign language already, but and also have connections with the Office of Disability Services, and it'd be easy for me to get the word out about the ASL Club.
Are there any other questions for the author at this time? All right, seeing none, thank you for coming to speak. And seeing that this is a first read, we will move into debate on this item next week. Moving into item G, R-61-011, recommendations for general education revision. Does the author wish to speak to this resolution?
Yes, just got to find it in my papers. Apparently you don't get to see it.
We're just switching laptops because we have the more up-to-date version on this one. There have been a few small changes which you can elaborate on if you would like.
Sure. You want me to get started while you're going? So R-61-011, recommendations for general education program revision. I'm going to go ahead and read all of it because it's kind of weird. Whereas the Kansas Board of Regents has mandated that most university degree programs consist of no more than 120 credit hours, which equates to roughly 15 credit hours per semester for 4 years. And whereas the university's General Education Revision Committee has been in deliberations on how to attain this mandate since May 2018. Whereas the Academics Committee has likewise been reviewing the general education program to ensure the appropriate allocation of credit hours per course. And whereas a review of the 2018-2019 catalogs for each degree program yielded variations within each program's specific general education requirements, which resided mainly within Tier 3 Advanced Further Studies and Issues and Perspectives courses in disciplines. And whereas the Bachelor's of Applied Arts in Media Arts catalog contained a total of 120 credit hours with only 30 credit hours designated for general education requirements. Therefore, be it resolved that the 61st Session Senate recommends that the General Education Revision Committee consider the elimination of Tier 3 to bring more degree programs' general education requirements to 33 to 36 credit hours. And be it further resolved that the General Education Revision Committee also consider allowing 3 to 6 credit hours within the general education program to additionally be counted toward program-specific courses in multiple disciplines, or vice versa, to more closely reflect the 120 total with 30 general education credit hour split as demonstrated by the Media Arts program without deteriorating either the general education or program-specific courses, and be forwarded to all these people. So basically, I've been a part, or I've sat in on several of these meetings, and our lovely president has been in pretty much all of them. It's kind of been a back and forth game for them, so we felt that it might be advantageous to kind of throw up another solution that they may or may not have thought of. So we kind of talked about it, was it like 3 or 4 meetings ago alongside President Rowell, and we kind of thought up a few variations of what we could do, and then started doing some research into what exactly it would look like. So one of the things that they have been talking about is reducing credit hours down to the 30. A lot of people were kind of hesitant to go too far down, and so that's when we added the second stipulation where you kind of go meet us halfway, come down a bit, and then offer courses in the program-specific area that would count in addition to it as a general education requirement. And thus you still have that credit hour, but it's kind of already accounted for, and you have the credit, but you kind of don't have the credit, kind of feel. Open to questions.
Senator Maddock.
Can you just explain why, I'm just like a little bit confused why you specifically named the Media Arts program?
So that one was offered both to the committee itself as well as our president and myself by, I hope I don't butcher her name, it was Dr. Linnea Glenmay, I believe. Yes, win for me. All right. But she offered it up as an example for one that's already meeting it. And one of the things they were talking about was due to the variations between courses, or not courses, programs, and how they are outlining their general education, that maybe we should think about doing something that's kind of a blanket to catch everybody. And so that's when that one was proposed as an example. And again, this is kind of a halfway meet of this is kind of where we need to be, but you don't have to be exactly this. Does that answer your question?
Senator Fugit.
Why does this advocate for eliminating Tier 3, whereas the Media Arts doesn't do that? It cuts down on Tier 2 and cuts down on Tier 3, but doesn't eliminate Tier 3.
So a lot of the, and President Rao can correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but a lot of the other programs focused a little more heavily on Tier 3, and so allowing them to maintain what they have already while knocking down 2 credit hours, or not 2, but it would be 3 or 6 in one case, I believe, to get down as close as we could to 30 without really altering too much, as well as student feedback about, I've already learned, general education is to get you outside of your comfort zone as well as your program-specific courses to kind of create a well-rounded education. Yeah, go for it.
So at least the conversations that we've had a lot in the revision committee, for Tier 2, you can still take Tier 3 classes. So if a student wanted to take those higher course level classes, they can still do so in Tier 2. Additionally, we sent out the revision committee sent out a survey to the faculty, and we asked, okay, if you were to cut X amount of classes, where would you want it to come from? And a lot of them replied with Tier 3. A lot of it is just a question between breadth and depth, and overwhelmingly, I think that there's been more of a focus on breadth when it comes to general education, and that's kind of where the General Education Revision Committee is going in that direction. Does that kind of answer your question?
Are there any other questions? Senator King?
Is there a reason why directly after the first be it further resolved, the General Education Revision Committee, it says reform instead of revision? I just don't know if that would require an amendment or if you can just change it. Okay.
Senator Maddock?
Do you happen to know why the media arts program has less gen ed am I understanding that? Okay, media arts, less gen eds, why?
So at least from my understanding from Dr. or is it Dunfield Stearns, or am I, Stearns Dun? Yes. Gosh, I'm so sorry, Alex. But anyway, when he was talking to us, and I'm not an expert on this at all, it's a very new program. So when they were designing it, in order to get accreditation, they needed those program-specific coursework, more of that. So they worked it out with the university and then also KBOR to get that general education brought down. Additionally, they don't count, in their general education program, they don't have to do a fine arts course because they're doing so much fine arts courses in their coursework. So that's kind of the consensus that they got to on their own. If we change general education, I don't know if that would mean that this program's general education requirement would change to update and reflect the new general education structure, but I can definitely ask that.
Are there any other questions? Senator Fugit?
If this is to get down to the 120, as it says in the first whereas, what are most degree programs at right now?
So most of them are at 120 with the exception of fine arts and engineering. A lot of those are in the 126 to 129 range, I would think. If this would change, then that would allow the programs that are already down to 120 to perhaps add back into their curriculum more program-specific courses that they had to pull out whenever KBOR gave the 120 credit hour mandate.
Are there any other questions for the author? All right, seeing none, we will now be moving into the debating period on this resolution. Senator Maddock?
I'll be voting in favor of this resolution. As a fine arts student who is gonna graduate on time, I will say that I am a kind of an exception to the rule because people get kind of stuck in our schedule of having to like wait until a spring 2020 to take a directing class or whatever, and having less gen eds to get in the way would help students graduate and save them money and save them time and get them into the real world. So I will definitely be voting in favor of this resolution.
Senator Enns.
I would like to express a lot of the same sentiments. Just to speak personally in favor of this bill, my program that I am going through for art education, I'm still on their old program, which is 138 credit hours of coursework. And if I had not taken summer classes or pre-sessions or anything, I would have been, going for at least another semester, as well as someone who changed my major. I really had to make up classes in order to graduate on time. So, along with additional stress of, jobs and everything, if I wasn't on top of that, I would have graduated later. So, I would really like to make this a little more accessible to students, because a lot of the time students see like a really long program and they're like, well, if I'm not completely invested in this at first, I'm going to go into this much coursework, and then what if I don't like it, So to have a lot of those, classes cut back to where students feel a little more comfortable going into these types of degree fields, I think that would be a huge benefit to students, so I will be voting in favor.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate on this bill? Senator Fugit.
I am going to vote against this. I was an undergraduate too, and I do understand that the mixing around and everything, but if we're still looking at 120 credit hours, then changing what is that feedback? Is it just me? Oh, okay. All right. That we have to pay for 120 credit hours anyway, or whatever our respective courses are. And I have found so many uses out of my tier 3 classes in the real world that I can't imagine going without them. I understand there may need to be some retooling, but recommending cutting to the general education courses, but cutting out tier 3, I don't think serves students in a way that makes us better students and better employees, because all of these things literally help our brain work better when we do more that is outside of our field. So I see this as perhaps being more of a detriment to future education, eliminating tier 3, than retooling all the tier 2 and tier 3 to something that works better. I also don't see, I was looking at the requirements, and for the most part what I see are the business and engineering, and most of those are requiring specific classes that are within the tiers more than requiring additional classes to the tiers. So I don't see where that argument doesn't make sense in one of the whereases. So it doesn't feel like it is for the best benefit of students to eliminate or recommend eliminating tier 3.
Senator Balzer.
I'm going to be voting in favor of this bill. I think showing student leadership and truly being a student-led attempt to reformation of WSU can only go to further SGA as a possibility to make real impacts for students that will impact them in academic ways. I think that's an important message to send across the university, especially now. And I think trying to save students time, money, and staying in line with other universities and guidelines is a very good thing.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate on this resolution? All right, seeing none, we'll now be moving into the voting period. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, same sign. R-61-0011 has passed by a majority vote of the Senate. moving into item HR-61-012, solidarity with the New Zealand mosque victims. Rija, can I get a correction on this? So the one that you sent me, is that reflective of Senator Berth's amendments?
Yes, that is. But then,
then
like a
there's
few minutes
more.
before, I caught two more.
Okay,
mistakes.
so we'll start first with this one right here. So the one that we're pulling up right now is slightly different. There are a lot of, mostly, pretty much all of them are non-functional changes. They're all just formatting. So, for example, there was a part where we said something here and something here and something here, and that was all put into one sentence that sounded a bit cleaner. These were adopted by Senator Mounts and Khan as friendly amendments. If anybody has a problem with them, we can get into the nitty-gritty of them and looking at doing amendments. But unless there are any objections to that, we should be good with this as is. That being said, does the author wish to speak to this bill?
Yes. I don't know if we do this right now, but we do have two more friendly amendments to make, just basic, tiny grammar. Otherwise, that is it. Line 7, add "un" in front of "safe" because somehow we missed that. And then line 9, change the "and" to "therefore." Un. And then line 9, "and" to "therefore."
All right. R610012, solidarity with New Zealand mosque victims. Whereas there is and has been ongoing violence against the Muslim community throughout the world, most recently through the mass shooting that occurred on Friday, March 15, 2019, in the Christchurch mosques in New Zealand, and whereas an act of terrorism is defined as the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims, and whereas this act of terrorism resulting in the loss of 50 innocent lives has made place of worship feel unsafe. And whereas senators of the 61st session are concerned about the faith and well-being of Muslim students on campus, therefore,
be it resolved that the 61st Session Senate holds that religious hatred shall have no place at Wichita State University and stands in solidarity with the Muslim and global community to respect and honor the lives lost in the Christchurch attack. And be it further resolved that the Senate believes that the global community should respect and honor the lives lost in the Christchurch attack. And be it further resolved that the Senate reminds students that Wichita State University has multiple resources for students, such as the Office of Institutional Equity and Compliance and Cut Hate, as well as the Office of Student Government Association Student Advocate, and the University Police Department, all of which the Senate recommends utilizing as a means for all purposes. And be it further resolved that the Senate condemns the act of discrimination and or prejudice against any religion. And be it further resolved that the Senate offers its deepest condolences to the families and victims of this act of terrorism. And be it further resolved that this resolution should be forwarded with respect to Rick Muma, Acting President and Provost of Wichita State University, Terry Hall, Vice President of Student Affairs at Wichita State University, the Office of the Student Advocate, the Islamic Society of Wichita, the Muslim Student Association at Wichita State University, Muslimas for Change at Wichita State University, the Al Noor Mosque in Christchurch, the Linwood Mosque in Christchurch, and the Right Honorable Jacinda Ardern, Prime Minister of New Zealand, and the Sunflower, the student newspaper, Wichita State University.
Are there any questions for the authors at this time? Senator Fugit.
It's a nice one, I promise. Is there a reason ODI wasn't included?
When we were writing this bill yesterday, we had not thought about that, so I highly suggest recommending to amend to add ODI to this list as well.
Are there any other questions? All right, seeing none, thank you. We will now move into the debating period on this bill. Senator Berth.
I'd like to motion to amend in line 19, the Office of the Student Government Association Student Advocate to just the Office of the Student Advocate.
Are there any objections to the amendment? Senator Rivera?
Yeah, I object. The student advocate is a part of the Student Government Association, and her office is in the SGA office.
So since there has been an objection, is there a second to the motion itself? There is no second, so the motion will not go to the floor. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate on this bill? Senator Maddock?
To add ODI to the who it's sent to.
Okay, can somebody want to guide me through like where and what specifically to type here?
Yes, I can. We should put it after. We'll do it line 28 after Muslims for Change. The Office of Diversity and Inclusion at Wichita State University.
Are there any objections to the amendment? All right, seeing none, the bill is amended or the resolution is amended as is. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate on this bill? Senator Mounts.
Motion to amend whatever the resources line is. I don't quite remember. I have closed the document, unfortunately.
It's up here now.
15 through 19. After University Police Department, also add the Office of Diversity and Inclusion.
Are there any objections to the amendment? All right, seeing none, the resolution is amended. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate on this resolution? Senator Fugit?
I would like to make a motion that we accept this by acclamation, by unanimous consent.
Are there any objections to adopt by unanimous consensus? All right, seeing none, R-61-012 has passed by unanimous consent of the Senate. Moving into item I, R-61-010, in remembrance of President John Bardeau. The authors of this bill are not here, so President Rowell will instead read the bill, or the resolution.
Whereas Dr. John Bardeau served as president of Wichita State University beginning in July of 2012 and had previously served as an assistant professor in the sociology department in the 1970s, and whereas Dr. Bardeau accomplished many things for the university, including but not limited to the development of the Innovation Campus, affiliating with the former WATC, now WSU Tech, changing recruitment strategies to gain more students along the I-35 corridor, moving to the American Athletic Conference, and many more. And whereas Dr. Bardeau has advanced the economic, social, and educational atmosphere at Wichita State, and whereas Dr. Bardeau has made Wichita State a catalyst for growth in the Wichita community, state, and region, and whereas Dr. Bardeau has brought about applied learning for students by bringing world-renowned businesses to the campus, and whereas Dr. Bardeau supported student and community-led innovation by advocating for the creation of community centers such as the Experimental Engineering Building and Go Create, and whereas Dr. Bardeau's legacy of partnerships, creation, and collaboration will continue to make Wichita State a center for successful innovation, not only locally, but also around the world, and whereas Dr. Bardeau has had a true commitment to the student body and had a vision to make Wichita State a thriving institution, and whereas Dr. Bardeau will forever be remembered in the hearts of Shockers for his dedication, passion, humor, innovative mind, and long, inspiring stories, Therefore, be it resolved that the 61st session celebrates the life of Dr. Bardot and recognizes the positive impact he made at Wichita State. And be it further resolved that a framed copy of this resolution shall be forwarded to Mrs. Deborah Bardot. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall be forwarded with respect to Dr. Rick Muma, Provost and Acting President, Dr. Terry Hall, Vice President for Student Affairs, the Wichita Eagle, the newspaper serving the greater Wichita metropolitan area, and the Sunflower, the student newspaper of Wichita State. I just wanted to publicly thank Paige and Breck for writing this extremely thoughtful and beautiful resolution. As you guys know, I didn't have, private meetings with Dr. Bardot, so I was very thankful that, they took it upon themselves to write this piece of legislation. I think it really encapsulates him as a person, and I really hope that you guys vote in favor of this resolution just to honor his memory and send our condolences and respect to his family. I'll take any questions if there are any.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll now move. Oh, Senator Fugit.
Do you think it would also be appropriate to send this to KBOR?
We most certainly can. I was at KBOR today, and they spent probably over 30 or 40 minutes just talking about Dr. Bardot and, sharing their stories, so I think they would appreciate that as well. So make that amendment if you see fit.
Are there any other questions? All right, so we'll now move into the debate period. Senator, do you have the motion, or?
I have two motions, and then I also have debate, so I don't know how that works, but.
Well, we'll start with any motions that people have.
Okay, so with the motion. So the first motion I have, I'd like to motion to add on the sponsors line, the Association Senate after the cabinet as well, just so we can sponsor it as well.
Are there any objections to the amendment? With that, the resolution is amended as such. Your second motion?
Sure, and then I also like to motion to add on line 26, or actually 27, after Miss Deborah Bardot, the office of the president itself. So you can just put the office of the president, and the office of the president.
Senator Fugit?
Did we accept that one?
Yeah. Are there any objections to that amendment? All right. Now the resolution is amended. Senator Fugit?
I would like to I would make a motion to add to line 30, after the word affairs, the Kansas Board of Regents.
Are there any objections to the amendment? All right, seeing none, the resolution is amended. Is there anyone wishing to speak in debate? Senator Rivera.
Yeah, I worked in the office of President Bardot for about almost a year. It was more like 9 or 10 months. And everything that Paige and Breck put in this bill is 100% true. Dr. Bardot was 100% committed to every student that goes to this university, even if he doesn't know, or he didn't know every single one of them. Every decision that he made, every decision that his staff makes, the executive team, he always wanted to make sure that students would come out on top. And I think that says a lot about him. But also, as a person himself, Dr. Bardot was always very loving, very, very, very funny, and had a lot of great information for everybody that works in his office. So I will eternally be grateful for Dr. Bardot and the opportunity he gave me for allowing me to work for him. And I resoundingly will vote yes on this resolution.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in debate? Senator Laughlin.
Just like to make a motion to pass by unanimous consensus.
Are there any objections to pass by unanimous consensus?
Don't we have to move out of the debate?
Nope.
No? Okay.
All right, seeing none, the R61-010 has passed by unanimous consent of the Senate. moving into section 11, remarks and announcements. I have two things just to start off with. The first thing is thank you to everyone who called me out with points of order during this meeting. I seriously appreciate that stuff, and it really helps when everybody is making sure that we're following the rules, because one person can't be perfect all the time. And the second thing is senator hours, just your friendly reminder to get those done this week. And with that being said, is there anyone wishing to speak in remarks and announcements? Senator Maddock.
The Theory of Relativity, a musical being put on by the School of Performing Arts, is this weekend. It'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 7:30, and then Sunday at 2 o'clock. It's at Wilner. Free ticket. Free thing to do. Go to it. It's going to be really cool. You can get them at Dirksen Fine Arts Center, right by Miller Auditorium, but you can also get a ticket right when you walk up to the door.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak? President Rowell?
Senator Rowell again. Okay, so Nancy sent me an email earlier this week saying that we needed grade appeals people appointed. So the previous two people who were appointed to this haven't been showing up. So if I could get two lovely volunteers from the Senate to join in that grade appeals process, I would really appreciate it. Aaron Mounts, is that a commitment? Oh, okay. What's the question?
When are the meeting times? Because I am interested. I just don't know if I can fit into my schedule.
It's as needed, I'm pretty sure, so they'll work with you on that schedule. Is that the commitment?
I would like to commit to that.
Fantastic. Thank you, Aaron.
I don't think so. No, because I know the two people we appointed, a lot of times they're not able to make it, and we're going to have a lot of grade appeals coming up, so they want to make sure that we have people who truly can be there because they want that student representation. I'm not sure. I'll have to find out.
All right. Senator Gibson?
I would just also like to commit.
Senator Martin? Senator Mounts?
This is actually an announcement. I'd like to thank everyone who showed up to the candlelight vigil on, I believe it was Monday. There's a pretty big crowd there, and I'm sure that students and the community alike both appreciate you being there and supporting not only the Muslim community here in Wichita, but also the Muslim community around the world.
Senator Laughlin?
Yeah, Lambda Pi Upsilon is having, all this week they're kind of having events. They're a new Hispanic sorority on campus, but they're having different women empowering events. And then this Sunday from 2 to 3, they're doing a trash cleanup at Watson Park, and I'm giving a talk on like zero waste living. So I'll put that in the Discord, but be looking out for that.
Senator Bogle?
I know Senator Berth has already spoke on this a couple times now, but I just wanted to bring it up as a reminder. Tomorrow, Student Veterans Organization Barbecue, 11:30, 1:30, RSC Front Lawn.
Senator Ale?
This is a reminder that Interfest is next week, Wednesday, 27th of March. If you're interested in being a vendor, you can go to wichita.edu/Interfest to sign up. And if you don't want to be a vendor, you can always come by. It's going to be at the Neff Hall Courtyard where it has always been from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. I hope to see more people from SGA attending Interfest.
Senator Rivera?
Yeah, next week is SAE's Patty Palooza Week, which is where Patty Murphy Week, sorry. Where we raise money for Chakrathon, which is the thing that I've been talking about. We've raised a ton of money for the last couple years. So that's going on all week. On Monday, you'll have the honor of taking pictures with SAE, so go ahead and do that. Yeah, the absolute honor. The absolute honor of taking pictures with us, so please find me. Take a picture with me. And then just throughout the week, there's other events. Specifically, I think on Wednesday, there is a give back night at Siggy's Pizza. they will give, or they are going to give 10% of all of their proceeds, whether you say you're there for that or not, all of their sales for that day to us, so we can donate that. So make sure you go on that day. I'll put more information in Ziggy's East, the one in College Hill, or I guess Ziggy's in College Hill, I believe, is the one. But I'll put more information in Discord for everybody, but just keep an eye out for those things. Also, Ziggy's has really good pizza.
Senator Brumley.
Tomorrow, that's what day it is, Thursday, Black Student Union is having their own silent library event. So if any of you guys watched TV when you were 13, I'm sure you love Silent Library. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, and I think we should support awesome programming, because that's why they come to see us. That's why we approve them. So anyways, you should go, because it's going to be hilarious.
Senator N.
Yeah, so coming up starting April 1st at the Donut Hole, I'm going to have a show there, but I'm also going to be putting some of my students' work from my student teaching experience, and I had them paint on vinyl records. It's pretty cool, actually, I think. So if you want to just come by and get a donut sometime, that would be great. Also, my boyfriend's band is playing for this show. Because I did artwork based off of their set list, so that's going to come up either on the 13th or 14th of April. I'm pretty sure it's the 14th, and I'm doing all my artwork based off of that set list, so it's kind of a collaborative event. So if you want to come to that, I will remind you of that again too. But yeah.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in Senator Khan?
Sorry to kill the mood, but I would like to say the people I surround myself with continue to surprise me in amazing ways. The vigil was hosted by Muslim Student Association and Muslim Us for Change, which I am part of. And the vigil was basically to honor the victims of New Zealand victims. And you all came out, and I'm very happy to see that there's a community that does support us no matter what. And showing the world basically that no matter if one person shows hate, we are still able to love one another. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart.
Treasurer Yang.
Okay, so I noticed that this year there are significantly less questions in the budget than last year. I don't know if that's because you all agree. I don't know if that's because you haven't looked at it. I want to assume it's because you all agree. However, if there are any concerns, I didn't receive that many questions before tonight, or in between yesterday when I posted it and tonight. So I would like to see more questions from you all sent in to me, if you're curious or not. And if you all don't agree with the budget and your constituents don't agree, then that's something that I would like to have the opportunity to address as well, rather than it popping up in debate and I don't have a chance to explain why the Student Fees Committee did something. So between this week, Wednesday, and next week, please do your job and ask me questions about the student fees packet as a whole.
Senator Fugit.
I would like to also say that with this new student fees system, I was able to talk to the graduate student representative, and we had several really great conversations about it, and I really liked being able to do that, to understand how our constituency was represented, and I was able to talk to other people on the committee, and it felt very much more open, much more it was a better little d democratic process, and I really appreciated that. So that is why I haven't asked questions, is because I went to a meeting, I went to some of the deliberations, and I enjoyed that process better than last year.
Senator Martin.
Sorry. Mine's just an exciting announcement. I should be getting my boot off tomorrow, so that's exciting. That's all.
Senator Maddock.
Okay, so I want to say too, I really do think that the reason that we didn't have as many questions is because it was just a smoother process. Like, I really, really, really think that you guys did an amazing job, and it feels good as a senator to not have to get hot-headed when I see the budget, and I really think I think that's because you guys did a really, really great job.
Sorry, I didn't mean to chide anyone for not asking questions. I just wanted to make sure that if you did have questions, you're not afraid to ask them and to know that I'm here for you all. So, thank you.
President Raoul.
I just wanted to give a round of applause to Treasurer Yang for being the first student to lead this process through all of these changes. She did a phenomenal job, so if you guys could help me with that.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in remarks? Senator Zacharias.
I almost forgot. So Coffee with a Cop is going to happen Wednesday the 27th and Thursday the 28th. So they're 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. downstairs in the RSC Starbucks. And there's coffee and donuts, and you can talk with a cop. So that's fun.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in remarks and announcements? All right, seeing none, the meeting is adjourned at 8:58 p.m. with a silent roll call.